Welcome to the October 17th meeting of the Mobile City Planning Commission. I'd like to take a moment to review our general operating procedures. Our meeting is divided into two sessions, the public hearing session and deliberation session. In the public hearing session, an application or group application on the agenda is called. The applicant makes his or her presentation. Commission members ask questions, if any. Members of the public make their comments. Only 4 people may speak for an agenda item project and 4 against. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes, subject to questions by the commission. After 4 minutes, a loud beep will indicate 1 minute left to speak, and at this point, please summarize your comments. After all opposition speakers have finished, the applicant will be given time to respond. If you do intend to speak, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, and give your name and address for our minutes. Please direct all comments to the commission only and not to the applicant or the audience, and please remember to speak directly into the microphone. On routine application, the applicant may simply raise his or her hand if there are no objections to the staff recommendations. I will then announce that the applicant is in full agreement with those recommendations. If there are any questions, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. After hearing all applications, the commission will go into deliberation session. In the deliberation session, the commissioners discuss each application with input from the staff as necessary, but with no input from the audience. The commissioners then vote on each application, and the resulting can be learned from the planning department. If some issues arise in the deliberation session that were not addressed in the public hearing, the chairman has the discretion either to allow additional comments pertaining to those issues in order to resolve them, or call for the application to be held over for discussion at a future meeting. Occasionally, one or more commission members may recuse themselves from discussing and voting on a given application. A recusal does not necessarily mean the member is directly involved with the application or the applicant. Depending upon the circumstances, ethical rule may require a recusal when there is only the slightest appearance of a conflict of interest. If a regular member recuses, a supernumerary will vote in their stead unless both supernumeraries are already voting due to absences. The Planning Commission makes final decisions subject to appeal on subdivisions, planning approvals, planned developments, PUDs. The Planning Commission only makes recommendations on zoning applications, with the City Council making the final decision. Please silence all cell phones at this time. Commissioners and staff, please remember to turn on your microphones when speaking. Roll call myself. Mr. Cart Blackwell. Here. Ms. Shirley Sessions.
Here.
Mr. Alan Cameron. Mr. Taylor Atchison. Mr. Matt Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Nick Omberger.
Here.
Mr. Jay Stubbs.
Here.
Mr. Bill Goodlow.
Here.
We have a quorum. We begin with item number 1, new subdivision applications. North side of Dolphin Street, Gaines Place subdivisions, recommended for tentative approval.
Mr. Gant, if I may, the staff would like to recommend on condition number 2 that it be revised to state that the final plat include notes stating all structures shall comply with the down development district requirements.
Okay. Applicant present.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Are you in agreement with staff recommendations?
I think so. I might have a question. I saw conflict late yesterday in the remarks and in the zoning variance that we sought and received. And I think Mr. Hoffman is suggesting as eliminating the conflict, essentially bringing the variants together. Is that correct?
The revised recommendation for number 2 brings everything into compliance.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam. Then I'm aware of and in sort of the comments as presented.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak for this? Anyone here to speak against? Thank you. Item number 2, 2480 Dog River Drive North, Dog River Drive subdivision, recommended for tentative approval. Is the applicant present? Are you in agreement with staff recommendations? Applicant is present and in agreement. Is there anyone else here to speak for this? Anyone here to speak against? New planning unit development applications. Item number 3, 6720 Greenlot Road, COP Enterprises LLC, recommended for tentative approval. Is the applicant present? Are you in agreement with staff recommendations? Applicant is present and in agreement. Is there anyone else here to speak for this? Anyone here to speak against? Thank you. New group applications. Item number 4, former Kerr McGee Tronics Parcel 2 subdivision, west side of Rangeline Road. Both parts recommended for approval. Is the applicant present? Are you in agreement with staff recommendations?
Yes.
Applicant is present and in agreement. Is there anyone else here to speak for this? Anyone here to speak against? Thank you. Item number 5, I believe that one's withdrawn. Oh, no. 3600 Spring Hill Avenue, Sherman Oaks on the Hill subdivision.
Yes, Jerry Bird, Bird Surveying Company. Yes, applicant would like to withdraw the subdivision and the PUD application.
Item is withdrawn. Thank you. Item number 6, 3450 Gerby Road, Addison Woods subdivisions, recommended for holdover to November 21st. Applicant present, are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Applicant is present and in agreement that that item will probably be held over. At that time, you will have the opportunity to speak for or against it. However, you do have that right now if there's anyone here to speak for or against this application. Thank you.
Mr. Gant, just to bring the commission's attention, there is the information in opposition that was downloaded for the website, just for your records.
Thank you. That closes the public hearing session. We will now enter into deliberation. New subdivision applications, item number 1, Gaines Place subdivision, recommended for tentative approval. Is there a motion?
Move to approve, subject to staff recommendation with revision to note 2, stating compliance with downtown development standards. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Item number 2, 2480 Dog River Drive North, Dog River Drive subdivision, recommended for tentative approval. Is there a motion?
Move to approve based on staff recommendations.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. New plan unit development applications, 6720 Greenlot Road, Copy Enterprises, recommended for tentative approval. Is there a motion?
Move to approve, subject to staff recommendation, adopting findings findings of fact C and D.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. New group application, item number 4, west side of Range Line Road, former Kerr McGee, Tronics parcel. Take both parts as one, both recommended for approval. Is there a motion?
Move to approve based on staff recommendations.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Both parts pass. Item number 5 has been withdrawn. Item number 6, 3450 Gerd Road subdivision and PUD. It's recommended for holdover till the November 21st meeting. I like that motion.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded that it be held over till November 21st. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Items held over to the November 21st meeting. Is there any other business?
Just to bring the Planning Commission up to speed on some recent appeals. Back on August 1st, the Planning Commission granted approval to a planning approval for a telecommunications tower on Midtown Park. That application was appealed to the City Council. This past Tuesday, the City Council did vote to reverse the decision of the Planning Commission. There may be more to come on that. The McKimmey Place application, which was also a planning approval that was heard by the commission in September, that has also been appealed. There will be the public hearing forthcoming. I do not have a definitive date on that yet. And then finally, the East Drive Dawson Apartments, the PUD that the commission approved at their last meeting, has also been appealed. That appeal was just filed. We have 15 days to forward that record to the city clerk's office.
Okay. Thank you. Any other business? Meeting adjourned.